Every graphic designer loves fonts, but there are some fonts out there that are just so good. So good that you love them more than usual. So good that they make you go awooga like a old car horn. The lengths I go to try and stand out on this platform. It makes me so happy to announce that today I have 15 fonts to show you. That's right, there are 15 fonts jam-packed into this short video. And all of them make me go awooga in different ways. I've curated these from a bunch of different places, but mainly they're from Future Fonts, which is an amazing site that lets you kind of like invest in fonts while they're early and kind of support the creator, and then you get the font at a cheaper price because you're supporting like the beta version, and then as they update the font, you get to keep the font and all its updates. Really cool site. You got to check it out. Some of them are from Adobe Fonts, which is the font library that you get if you have an Adobe subscription. If you didn't know that, bloody hell, now you know. And then some of them are from just independent type foundries that I've been following for a while on Instagram. So it's a really cool mix of fonts. We all love fonts. Fonts. Good to see the dog back on the couch as well. Just before we get into it, it's time to announce today's featured item of the week. Today's featured item of the week is, of course, the IKEA PS 2012 sofa. Congratulations, IKEA, on today's featured item of the week. Let's get right into it. Our first font is described as silky smooth with a strong personality. It's Mayonnaise by Spaghetti. I'm always in the mood for a rounded font. I'm a big fan. They always make me excited. I've got some from like Pangram, a few other places that I can't bring to mind right now. But Mayonnaise will be added to the collection because goddamn, this is a very nice font. I love the different like stylistic versions, like the nice little stripes, the bubble type kind of thing we got going on there. I'm a big fan of that. I've been seeing a few fonts recently adding like kind of styles like that, which is very nice. And I think that like the lighter weight is it feels so different from the thicker weight. Like the thicker one feels quite like decorative, and there are certain use cases that I would apply it to for sure. But then the lighter one I feel like is very versatile, which is cool for a rounded font. Rounded fonts can be very versatile, and I like it when they are. Definitely makes me go awooga. I'm gonna just play the sound effects because I don't want to make the noise anymore. Also, I'll quickly note that my font terminology vocabulary is still terrible, even for my last fonts video. So just roll with it, all right? Just let me be happy. Our next font is described as 40% font, 5% type, and 100% fun. That's right, it's Gooper by Very Cool Studio. It says here that Gooper is a companion to Cooper, Bookman, and Dry Transfer Photo Lettered Error display type, which is really cool. I think everyone knows Cooper Black. That's just like a classic font that, it's installed on a lot of computers, I think pre-installed. I think it was on my computer at least. And it's just like, it just screams that like retro vintage aesthetic, it's a classic, a true classic. And it's always nice when people try and touch it up a little bit, and Gooper is definitely that. Its italic version is what stands out to me the most, is that's something that I feel like is lacking in Cooper's one. I don't find it too interesting, but this italic definitely adds a little bit of pizzazz. Like, look at the F's on that word shuffler right there. Like, how nice are they when they kind of dip down a little bit, even just on the lowercase f. Our next font is described as a serif family. If it went really nuts with rotating the pen angle, how could I not include this? It is Swear by Oh No Type Co. We absolutely love Oh No Type in this house. The guy who runs it, James, has been making some reels on Instagram about how to make your own font. One of the best series that I've ever seen on Reels. I can highly recommend you checking it out. And also just one of the best people around here. I feel like I've already mentioned that on one of these videos, or like 3 already. Just I love them so much. And I managed to pick up Swear, I think in like 2020. So I've been using Swear for a while now. I've had my time to play with it. And let me tell you, Swear is a truly fantastic work of art. The time and care that is put into every font by Oh No is just so evident when you're using it. And it just feels like no matter what you type, it's going to look good. And I think that is such an achievement for a font, right? To produce something that is so versatile, so universally usable, and just like anyone can just chuck it down on a page and everyone's like, that font is sick. Yeah? So it's really good. I love swear a lot. It really makes me go awooga. Next up, we have a display typeface inspired by the boldness of 90s basketball graphics. It's BRZO by Newform Type. The lovely people over at Newform Type sent me BRZO, and I could not be happier when I received it in my email because I had my eyes on this font for such a long time on Future Fonts. This is one of the first fonts I discovered on Future Fonts, just when I was like a young designer being like, whoa, there's more to the world than just Adobe fonts and like my computer fonts. And BRZO just got me. The way they market it with these beautiful reds and blue colors, just the whole chrome look to it. I didn't even know you could do that with the font and like make that, like build it into the typeface itself. BRZO is sick. I'm such a big fan. Also, as a basketball head, as you all know, it kind of like, you know, tickles that fancy in a way, I guess. Full of energy. It's just bursting from the page whenever you look at it. And all the different styles just mean that no matter how you use it, it's going to be unique too. Like you can always mix it up. You can play with it. You can do whatever you want. And it's going to look cool. So shout out to BRZO. Shout out to Newform Type. I love BRZO. Awooga to BRZO. The next font I would like to talk about is described as a variable typeface with a readable regular weight and decorative extreme. I hadn't seen this font until today, but oh my god, am I glad to show it to you. It is Purple Haze by Font Spectrum. This is a work in progress font on Future Fonts. It's currently at version 0.3, so still in early days, but wow, I'm blown away by how detailed this thing is. What I love so much about Purple Haze is how simple it can seem at its most basic form, which is just like each of the letters kind of being comprised of these dots. But then turning it up a notch on the variable scale, and you get these like beautiful, like interlaced, shadow-looking 3D chrome-esque type that just doesn't even, I don't even know how you make something like this, right? And the fact that it's built into the font as a variable typeface, it's all just there for you. You don't even have to touch any other buttons apart from that beautiful variable slider. How sick is that? I haven't seen anything like this before. Fonts like this really excite me because I'm a big believer that like a font itself can be art. I think it definitely has that potential. People think that like fonts have a purpose, and that purpose is to write words, I guess. It's just a means of type and communicating words. But then you start thinking about how type can kind of be used as like as texture, as patterns, as shapes, and it can do more than just being like a legible phrase. Yeah, it can be so much more than that, and it can kind of stand as its own thing. Even with Purple Haze right here, I could take that capital H in its form, put it in a square, frame it, and put it on a wall, and that would look sick. Yeah, like each individual character in all of its different forms has that potential to be like frameable art, and I think that's so cool. It's the kind of font that I'd love to design myself. Would love to make a font that makes me go awooga, you know? Wouldn't that be so cool? Next up, we have one of the most iconic serifs out there. It is Big Caslon by Carter and Cone. The reason Big Caslon is on this list because I used to use it all the time when it was on Adobe Fonts, like 5 years ago or so, I feel. Like this is my serif of choice. I would always go to Big Caslon. But then it just disappeared from my font library one day, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to do. And I checked like all the licensing stuff, and it, you know, it's a very expensive font. For good reason. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's an all-time classic. But wow, you know, it was expensive. Even, you know, wow, you know. But it's back. It's back on Adobe Fonts, which is really cool. So now I'm using it again, and I love Big Caslon. If you're looking for like a serif to work as a header font and just want something that is like super clean, super bold, and just like has this presence on the page, then Big Caslon is definitely one for you, because wow, does this thing look good. And it's like, if you just take like one or two words, chuck a capital letter in the front, and just make them huge on the page, it's like, yes, you know, hello, wowza, that's awesome. Big Caslon's sick. Add it to your library if you haven't already. If you haven't heard of this gem, then definitely go pick it up. I love Big Caslon. Tell you what doesn't get a lot of love though, Little Caslon. It doesn't exist as far as I know. Just a little joke for you. Just a little joke to remind you that I sometimes like to joke around. Our next font is quite possibly the most beautiful typeface ever made. It is Romie by Margot Levesque. God, do I love this font. I cannot express how much I think this is just like the most perfect looking typeface in that has ever been made. Every little detail has so much care put into it. All of the little swashes and like the italic alternates and everything, just everything about it is just so like carefully touched, and like the stroke is all the same everywhere around, and like it all just looks so in place. Like, it just fits so right. Like, nothing feels out of place. You could type anything in this font and then you would convince me that like it is royalty or something. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just mwah, you know? One day I will get my paws on Romie, especially Romie Italic, and I will not stop using it forever. Our next font is described as connecting the constructed features and sans serif styles with playful handwriting. It's the latest font from Superior Type. It is Gradient Comic. There's two things Superior Type do really well. One, make fonts. And two, put them in a carousel format on Instagram. Wow, this is the best way you could ever do it. It's been sitting in my save tab and I'm just like been waiting to hit purchase on this thing because it is so clean. I love a good rounded sans serif. Always on the lookout for it, especially ones that you could easily interchange with your regular sans serif without feeling too silly. It's very playful. It has a lot of fun. It's exciting. It's vibrant. It's just cool. But you could easily see this as like a corporate logo at the same time. You know, it's got that versatility. It has that potential, and that's awesome. Look at that lowercase g. Look at that little hook of the G at the bottom. You ever seen that before in a rounded sans serif? No, I didn't think so. Sorry. Next up, we have a very cool font from a very cool foundry. It's Camera from Dynamo. Really wanted to include a Dynamo font on this list because I absolutely adore their work. A very talented group of type designers, a very well-run Instagram page, and just a very cool persona all around. I'm a big fan of ink traps when it comes to fonts. If you don't know what the ink traps are, they're those little, here's a definition on the screen. Elliot, read it out for me, please.
Okay, an ink trap is an intentional negative space built into the design of characters' letter forms to literally trap ink at certain intersections of the strokes, where ink might pool or bleed and create an undesirable emboldening of the text. I hope that was good enough. Also, ignore what's going on back here. I'm in the process of building a gallery wall. And also, while I have you, I thought it would be good to mention that I went out and bought Gradient Comic, and then I made a series of posters with it. And it's a really good font. I said I would buy it and I did. All right, this has gone on for too long.
Thank you, Elliot. I just doubted myself for a second there, and I would rather have a professional read out the definition for me. But what Camera has, instead of ink traps, it has light traps, okay, which I'd never even heard of until like 5 minutes ago. Similar in logic to ink traps, light traps compensated for low resolution. When the font appeared, the screen's blur filled in its holes so that each letter looked complete. How about that? That's awesome. And I love the fact that Camera has them. And I think it's really cool now how like type designers are using these old things like ink traps and light traps as decorative features in the font, you know? Like, I think they look so cool, huge on the page. They're just like a little bit of added texture almost to the font, just a bit of originality, a bit of uniqueness. So that I think they're awesome, and Camera's really cool. Next up, we have the latest and greatest from the one and only Pangram Studio. It is, of course, Writer. I've seen Writer's development as Pangram have kind of been posting about it, and I had to include a Pangram font on this list as they are my all-time favorite font foundry, and Writer is perfect for this list, as it truly makes me go awooga. It is described as an elegant and dynamic serif, drawing inspiration from French Renaissance type. Writer is awesome in italic. It's got a few like cheeky little features that I really, really like about it. It just is that nice, like, you know those, this is so niche because I've been reading. There are some books that have just like a classic serif font as the main font, and then there are other books that look like they've come straight from like the printing press or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that's so cool, and I'm definitely going to be picking up Writer and using it in my stuff soon because I am looking for new serifs always. So I love Writer, I love Pangram, and that's cool. Next up, we have a collaboration between Boogy Paper and BRZO Brut. It is Boogy Brut. I always wonder with Brut, by the way, you see this a lot. Is it Brut, like brutalism, or is it like Brut, like, I guess the German way of saying it? Because I know fonts have a lot of German history. Anyway, we're going with Brut today. Super clean, super simple, a lovely decorative almost serif type that I would love to use. But what makes it so special to me is the alternate styles, okay? Have a look at these. These are what's called the poster style. So you've got poster white italic, poster white wild. They're calling it wild. How sick is that? And these wild styles are wild to say the least. Like, wow. Imagine taking just like one of the letters, yeah, and using it as a capital letter for your word and then just going off with that, right? Like, that's how I see these being used, like interchanging them or just going all out and just completely going for it with it. It's very nice. I don't even comprehend how you can get so wild with a style, but still have it feel like it is part of the original family. You know, that's what I like so much about this font. How do people do that? How do you learn how to do that? That takes an eye, that takes two design eyes, you know? Impressive. And I guess that's why it's a collaboration. Next up, we have the loveliest of serifs. It is Tartuffo by Lift Type. Now, the legends over at Lift Type sent me Tartuffo, and they are just so sweet because I saw this font and I was like, thank you so much for sending this to me. This is everything I've ever wanted. I've been using Tartuffo all the time. It is just a fantastic, like, tall serif font that I think a lot of people are looking for. Apple Garamond is a classic if you're looking for like those old editorial style ad design kind of thing going on there. But for me, who's looking like for more of a modern twist, but still with that same height, Tartuffo is like perfect. I find it to be a really unique serif font that I think makes my work look so much better. So thank you, Lift Type, for making my work look better. Next up, we have the tallest of tall serifs. It's Toy from Out of the Dark Typefaces. I remember seeing Toy, I think like 2 years ago on Instagram, and I kind of had like my font awakening when I saw it, right? I was like, oh my God, there is a world of fonts out there that I didn't even know existed. And it kind of introduced me to the world of independent foundries, like specific type designers. Like, it's not just about Adobe fonts. It's not just about the big boys. There are people going out there and doing their own thing. And Toy is so cool. Toy looks so good as a header font, especially when you take advantage of all the like alternate glyphs that it's got going on for it. So if you do like a double L, the way it kind of does it for you, you know, I don't know the word for it, but like it combines the letters for you and everything. So it kind of looks like you've done some stuff to it, but in reality, it's just the font doing all the work, and that's awesome. It takes so much attention on the page. I love it. It has such a presence. It's got power. It's great. Yes, I love Toy. Our next font describes itself as playing with a feeling of satisfaction. How a few thin strokes can create the shape of a letter, either cut in a solid mass or traced in the air. What a beautiful description. It is Nostra by Plain Form. Nostra just shows the potential of type design, I think. You have got this like beautiful slab serif-esque looking wide type, right? And then you've got this second style, which is just as wide, but like almost scripty, hand-drawn, which is just so cool. And they work so well together. They're on polar opposites, I feel, but they're the same width, and they just kind of like, you can pair them together really nicely, and it feels like you're using the one font, which is just the dream before I feel like a type designer who's working with something like this with multiple styles. They work so well on their own, they work so well together, and they work so well on your computer. So check out Nostra by Plain Form. It'll truly make you go awooga. I love Nostra. I have so much love for this font. You guys don't understand. And finally, we have one of my gems from last year, I would say. I found this font on Behance. I couldn't believe myself that it was open source. That's right. You're about to see an open source typeface. It is Boris by Julia Boggio. Let me tell you how much I love Boris. A lot. Boris is the perfect mix of like a sans serif and a hand-drawn type, right? It's got that. It's like if a really talented kid was asked to make a font, or like it's copying like a really talented kid's handwriting. That's what it feels like. Like, imagine seeing this at a school. Like, you'd be like, wow, sign this kid up for design school, or sign this kid up forever, or to a studio now or something. I don't know. But the fact that Boris is open source as well for like commercial projects, personal projects, everything. Julia is an absolute legend for doing that. Almost too kind. But I am obsessed with Boris. I've used it for a few designs now, and it just kind of like pairs really well with a more traditional sans serif too. You can kind of like add a little playful charm with a few playful words typed up in Boris. It's got these little smiley faces and sad faces as well, which you can use if you're not good at drawing faces like myself. Boris is the best. Julia is a legend, and everyone should go pick up Boris and use it and tell Julia, because it's so sick. And there you have it. That was 15 fonts that make me go awooga. How cool is that? I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry to get so close to the camera, by the way, can I just say? Also, how silly does this mic look? This should not be. This is the wrong Like, this does not match the microphone, but I think it's so funny how big it looks. Yeah, I hope you found this useful. I love talking about fonts. I love talking about all the different elements of design and all that stuff. And fonts are definitely one of those things. So maybe we'll go pick up one of these fonts. Maybe not. Maybe just enjoy looking at them. And that's awesome as well. Let me know some fonts that I might have missed. Fonts that make you go, wow, that's so cool. Leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear them. We'd love to maybe make a part 2 of this in the future with some of your recommendations. So if you want to do that, go and do that. But otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. Check out my Twitch channel if you'd like to see some live streams that I rarely do. Follow my Instagram if you'd like to see my actual design work. Check out Elliot Radio if you want to listen to some sweet tunes that I curate monthly. And also, feel free to grab a print or a Casetify case of mine, because I am more than just a video guy. That's right, I have designed things in the past, and you can buy them. And that is really cool. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and I've told you to do too many things already, okay? You don't have to do anything more. Time for bed. Someone once told me that these videos are like a lullaby for them, and I will take it as a compliment, I guess. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you all next week for some more Elliot fun. All right, have a good one. See you later, viewer. Bye-bye. See ya. Bye. See ya, guys. See ya. See ya.